Hello everybody and welcome to video 58. Today we're going to be continuing on through the alimentary canal. We talked about the oral cavity in our last video. Today we're going to take a brief look at the esophagus and then move on down to the stomach. So the esophagus is about 10 inches long. It's going to run from that pharynx all the way down to your stomach, and it's going to use peristalsis to push food down to your stomach. Now remember, peristalsis is that rhythmic wave of contractions that's going to propel food in one direction through your alimentary canal. And it's actually because of peristalsis that you're able to swallow food even while you're upside down. No digestion takes place in the esophagus. There's no mechanical digestion, no chemical digestion. All that the esophagus does is move food. Oftentimes students think that there is mechanical digestion taking place because of peristalsis, but there is no pushing or mixing taking place with peristalsis. It is simply contracting behind the food and pushing it to its next destination. The esophagus, you have an upper esophageal sphincter and a lower esophageal sphincter, two sphincter muscles that are going to help keep it closed when unused, and then it will open when food is passing through. As we'll see with the stomach and stomach acid has a very low pH, and so anytime stomach acid moves up into the esophagus, you get a burning sensation, and it happens to be right behind your heart, and so that's why we call it heartburn. But it has nothing to do with your heart. It's that lower esophageal sphincter is failing to properly close, and so there is some stomach acid that is washing back and getting into your esophagus and burning your esophagus. Once we move on past the esophagus, we get to the stomach. The stomach sits on the left side of the body, just under the diaphragm. In general, it's about the size of your fist when empty, and then it does have the ability to expand to hold approximately 4 liters worth of food at its maximum capacity. Here, you're going to have the bolus mixed with stomach juices, digestive enzymes, and things like that. And so now we're going to call it chyme. I mentioned the lower esophageal sphincter is what's responsible when it's failing. You can get heartburn. That lower esophageal sphincter is going to open to allow the bolus to move from your esophagus down into your stomach. In the stomach, we're going to see both chemical and mechanical digestion take place. Chemical digestion due to the digestive enzymes, the low pH of the environment of the stomach, as well as the stomach is going to contract and mix and break down mechanically that chyme. The hydrochloric acid that is found in the stomach acid, hydrochloric acid is one of the most common acids we think of. But it is so acidic and so strong that it's able to denature proteins, that is, to make proteins completely unravel and begin breaking them down into amino acids. Also within the stomach, we do get a little bit of digestion. Most digestion is going to take place in the small intestine, but within the stomach, you do see some things like aspirin and alcohol able to be absorbed. So here's a picture of the stomach and some of the labeled structures here. You can see the esophagus and the lower esophageal sphincter will sit right here. You'll have the fundus, which is going to be the part that is going to curve upward. And then you get to the body of the stomach, the main part of the stomach. And then when it starts to taper off, you're going to get to the pylorus. Name the pylorus because we're going to get into the sphincter here, and this is known as the pyloric sphincter. Then once we get into the duodenum, that is all part of the small intestine, so we're not worried about that right now. Other things you have on here, the lesser curvature, the smaller C shape, and the greater curvature, the bigger C shape. And you can also see these folds located within the stomach known as rugae. Now these folds within the stomach, you only see them when your stomach is empty, and they are basically folding inward to make the stomach get smaller. And then when your stomach starts to fill up with chyme, those rugae will disappear because your stomach is going to be expanding to be able to hold all of that chyme. And so it's just extra surface area being stored as folds on the inside of the stomach while it is empty. Those are rugae. So here you can see I misspelled esophageal, but those are some of the terms you need to know. I talked about each of these as we went through though. So taking a look at stomach acid, for the most part, stomach acid is hydrochloric acid, lingual lipase, and pepsin. Lingual lipase's job is to break down fats into fatty acids and either monoglycerides or diglycerides. Starting from these triglycerides, and it's going to break them down into fatty acids or the 1 or 2 glycerides here. Pepsin and hydrochloric acid are going to be responsible for denaturing proteins, starting to break them down into their corresponding peptides and amino acids. As for mechanical digestion in the stomach has a very unique type of peristalsis. It's still a very rhythmic contraction, but we call them mixing waves. That's going to allow the stomach to be breaking down and mixing all of that food with the gastric juices to start forming chyme. When that bolus first enters and starts becoming chyme, the mixing waves are generally weak, but they are going to become stronger the longer that food sits in there. And then with each mixing wave, there's a little bit of fully digested chyme that is going to be moved into the small intestine through that pyloric sphincter, and it's approximately 3 milliliters are going to be pushed through the process of gastric emptying. Now, the reason 3 milliliters is important is because that's enough to get food moving fast enough and efficiently through your system, but it's not too much that it's going to overwhelm your small intestine, and you're going to make sure that you're able to get all of the nutrients out of those 3 milliliters without missing any as they are passing through. So that is the esophagus and stomach. We took a look at the esophagus, the upper and lower esophageal sphincters, as well as all of the anatomical structures of the stomach. And then briefly we looked at the mechanical and chemical digestion that takes place in the stomach.